So I'm visiting Mark here in Washington, northern Washington. Beautiful weather, lots and lots of nice trees, mountains. And here's Mark a few years later. And look at this. So this is an electric bike he built all himself. His first one, he practice bike. So I got to ride it yesterday. It has, I know this much about it. It has 3 settings for the speed, and then he also has an app where he controls.
I also got reverse as well, so that's
okay. So tell me about it.
So this here was a frame from a TTR 125. I bought it. I didn't know much about making something electric, but this was like kind of a prototype version of what I actually wanted to make for myself. So
you started with a frame.
Yeah.
You bought a frame. Okay.
And on AliExpress, I found a hub motor.
So this is the hub motor you bought.
Yeah, this is the hub motor. But I put these on because it kept like overheating. That didn't really help, so I bought this later. This itself is a QS 205 5,000 watt hub motor. And
then you added
these. Yeah, I added these. These are the heat sinks that I bought from AliExpress as well. And yeah.
So this is the main thing that drives this whole electric bike, and it's fed with this power cord, and it goes
I have a controller under my seat. It's a far driver. It's a far driver controller.
Okay, so there's the
back side right here. You can see the heat sink right here. That's the heat sink of the controller. I'll probably take off the seat later, maybe. But yeah, it's a 5,000 watt controller that I can control, where I can update stuff on my phone with it. So it also
so the controller controls how much electricity goes to the motor.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
so it controls the voltage and the amps and the phase amps that goes to the. It converts DC current from the battery to AC to the motor. And I have it right now. I have it set to 100 amps DC from the battery to 400 amps AC to the motor. That's the peak. That's the maximum it will be able to take. And so yeah, that's pretty much.
So
it.
How much was the controller?
So the controller was $300 for the controller.
And for the motor?
For the motor was 800 for the motor.
Okay, so you're like 1,100 here, and then the battery.
The battery, so that's a 72 volt lithium polymer battery pack. It's a 50 amp hour battery capacity with that.
Did you buy this on AliExpress as well?
No. So the battery itself is a 72 volt 50 amp hour battery lithium polymer battery pack with a 100 amp BMS. I bought that out AliExpress. The battery's inside. I made this box myself out of 1/4 inch aluminum.
How much? So what's the advantage of the aluminum? Just keeps it from the weather, or just?
Well, it's just like it's like a
box to protect
protective case for the battery. That's where the box sits inside, because the battery is just covered by plastic, and so.
How much does it weigh? How many pounds?
Around 60 pounds.
60 pounds?
50 pounds, 50, 60.
Okay, so this battery can hold charge for...
Well, if you're riding all day, you have about 6 hours of ride time just on that. Just cruising around, you got 6-7 hours. Plenty of ride time around here.
And how much was the battery?
800 for the battery as well. Yeah. So I also got my throttle off AliExpress, my display off AliExpress. I got the power switch off AliExpress as well. Light, I have light in the front right here. And I have lights in the back under here. If you look there. It's pretty nice in the...
So the main advantage of a bike like this, you previously told me, it was because it's quiet. And you're able to go hunting in the mountains and sneak up on the elk or whatever, and they don't even hear you.
They won't hear you coming. You'll just pull up. They won't. It's like super quiet. That's the advantage of having a hub motor. If you have a mid drive, it'll be a little louder because of the chain. But yeah, my charger port is right here, right where the gas tank used to be, but it's kind of corroded. I got to change it. I got to put it somewhere else.
So you just plug it in, and
yeah.
and do you have some kind of converter that takes it to the
no, actually,
battery?
I have a charger.
Oh, charger
and
separate.
And it plugs in right straight into there.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about the speed.
So,
what is the torque of this, and how fast can it go?
So it's about, I would compare it to like a TTR 110, but it doesn't have as much torque, but it tops out at like 70 miles an hour. So if you, depends how much DC amps you're putting through this. And so if you have it set to 100 amps, it goes around 50-ish. Put a little higher to like 150, goes 70, and it has pretty good power there. But the motor overheats pretty often if you're going like up a hill. It's more for like road use for hub motor. But yeah.
So I've seen videos of like Chinese bikes getting on fire and then like burning and all the stuff that happens. What causes that, and how do we know this won't happen to this bike?
So can't tell for sure, but I know it's mostly with controller and overdrawing from the battery of how much the battery is rated for. Like lithium polymer battery packs, you can't really draw more than 100 amps continuous, or like 150 is like peak. Like you can't really go more than that for too long. But it's mostly is because current overdraw, or the batteries are just old and they catch on fire. Hey guys, so here is the YZ85 frame. Check it out. That's that thing. So I bought this off a neighbor of mine. This will be the next e-bike project. Yeah, this will have a 40 kilowatt rated motor, but I'll have it probably around 25 or 30. I'll have a 72 volt 55 amp hour battery with a 300 amp BMS on there, and I will have like no plastics really. I'll redo the whole thing, and it should be pretty lit. I'll have it done just around springtime. I'm working on a different project right now, but yeah, that's the YZ85 frame for now. Yeah, I think it'll go pretty good, and we'll see how it'll go.